Let's do a review and chit chat a little bit about Redbird LA in downtown LA. I am a Southern California wedding planner, and I toured this space a couple weeks ago with a client who was potentially thinking of booking this as their wedding venue. They ended up not booking the space. They ended up actually booking Cielo Farms. But I will kind of chat through some initial thoughts that I had just based on my site visit there. Obviously, I haven't done a wedding there yet, so this is just, again, initial thoughts, not an actual review of an experience of having a wedding there. Redbird LA is obviously a restaurant first. I think that it is a wedding venue like third. So what I mean by that is I think that the space is like, it obviously do weddings there, so it can work, but it's not built out perfectly to be a wedding venue, just in the sense of like bridal suites where they are, the flow of things, the direction of things, just like little things like that. You can make it work, but to me, it's very obvious that the flow of it is like, okay, got it. This is like not built for weddings, but you could definitely make it work. I will say the ceremony space and the cocktail hour spaces, it's okay. It's not my favorite. It's not anything that like took my breath away. It is very LA, so if that is your aesthetic, if that is your vibe and you like that city, the tall buildings, then you may like this. I personally thought that the ceremony and the cocktail hour space is small. Obviously, depending on your guest count, if you're having a smaller wedding, then it can work. But when I initially saw the space, I was like, oh, this is kind of small. My client wasn't the biggest fan. That, again, you can kind of see like a bunch of the buildings. Like one of the taller buildings right next to ceremony was like a double tree. She didn't like that. So that may not bother you, bothered her. When we did our walkthrough, they were saying that the ceremony space sometimes is flipped to reception, and then cocktail hour is like in this back space, which I'm like, there's like no room for that. But okay, they've done it before, so that's fine. And then I forgot what they said. I think they said dancing is outside as well, but it can also be inside. I don't really like that idea. I think it's like a little bit choppy. I think that if you do plan to have a wedding here, I think your ceremony should be the ceremony site, cocktail at cocktail hour, and then I think you should do a buyout at the reception. I do think that the cocktail hour space is interesting in the sense of like they have this built-in bar. It's kind of within like a little herb garden. So I do think that's cool. But again, I'm not like a city gal. So the whole like tall buildings everywhere is just not personally my aesthetic. But it's cool. I do a party there. What I really like about this space, and I would love to do a wedding here, is because I do want to do like a restaurant forward type of wedding. I think what would be really cool is if you do your reception in the actual restaurant dining space inside. I just think that's so cool. I think that this is going to be a great place for a couple to get married if you really, really value like food and beverage and good food. I think that there is this notion within the wedding world here in SoCal, or just in general, and Western weddings, like wedding food isn't that good. I'm gonna be honest. I've talked about this many times, but because they are a restaurant first, I think you would get really good food, So I think if you pick this type of place, that is what you value, and I think everything else is kind of scaled back, like your design and your aesthetic, because your aesthetic is going to be you're at Redbird LA or having a restaurant forward wedding, right? I think the pricing, they have like venue fees, which isn't too bad, and then like food and beverage minimums, which isn't too bad. The only thing though is with their drinks is they don't do a package. So a lot of times when you're going to wedding venues, they do like price per person per hour, and it's essentially kind of like unlimited. So they don't do that. They do it priced per drink on consumption, and every drink is about $18 to $20. That could get pricey. Potentially that can get really pricey. I've seen this before with like weddings. Like anytime we've done based on consumption, if you have pretty moderate, if not heavy drinkers, it can get really pricey. So I just pointing that out. So overall, as a wedding venue, I don't think it's for the masses for sure. I think this is for again, the couple that is a little bit more like they want to do something not as traditional. Again, they're really big foodies. Maybe they're from New York. You like love the city. It's for a very specific type of couple. So yeah, it's not for everyone, but if, you know, it's for you, call me. They have like a ton of different little rooms that have these beautiful and gorgeous kitchens. I'm a little bit of a foodie. I love to cook and I love eating out. And like, I'm gonna book my 35th birthday. I'm gonna have a dinner party here because it's just so cute. It's so aesthetic. I feel like the food would be super good. So if maybe this place doesn't work out as a wedding venue, I think it would be a great place for like a welcome dinner, for a rehearsal dinner, for a birthday dinner. And those are my initial thoughts on Redbird LA. It has been on my list to visit, so I'm glad I was able to see in person. I think I just now need to eat there and potentially do someone's wedding there. So hope that helps.